the question everyone wants to know is, why do you keep having delays?
Sure, it's a good question, fair question, but we're in good shape. The why is it taking longer than we had hoped to? It's where our starting point was a year ago. We've got all of the manufacturing data to put together into a package that we submit globally to all the global regulatory agencies, and with that we submit all of the clinical efficacy and safety data. And we have some of the best clinical and safety data that exists, and we've got that put together. We're assembling the manufacturing package, and frankly, a year ago we had zero manufacturing capacity. We had zero analytical and process development laboratories, and we've built that all in a year on 8 different countries. So that's what's taken us longer, but we're there. We've got I think all of the data being assembled now, and so I think we're in good shape.
So Stan,
I think
just to be clear, there is no problem.
Sorry.
There is no problem with the vaccine. This is a manufacturing issue, not a vaccine issue.
No, it's not. No, we've shown consistently we've got a great vaccine, and in fact, we're about to unblind a U.S. trial that has 30,000 people in it in a couple of weeks, and I think that'll just further support the fact that we've got a great vaccine.
How many doses do you anticipate you'll be able to provide in 2022?
We're looking at, between ourselves and our partners, we're looking at providing 2 billion doses. And we're moving toward that rate of manufacture right now. Everybody has had some problems here and there with the raw material supply. We're getting through those. I think we had some breakthroughs this week in terms of getting things like filters and bags and that distributed around our sites, and we'll be by the end of this year, we'll be at the rate of maybe 150 million doses a month. And between now and then, we'll build up the capacity to do that.
Stan, one of the big advantages that your vaccine had was that it was more stable at a higher temperature. The mRNA teams have managed to be able to tweak theirs. They're now stable at higher temperatures. Do you think the advantage that you were able to demonstrate earlier on has been eroded by the fact that this is coming a little later than anticipated?
No, well, you have to look at across the board. So what are the factors? What are the characteristics of a vaccine that make it better or worse than some other vaccine? You've got efficacy. We have demonstrated efficacy at least as good as everybody else's. We had 96% efficacy in a large UK trial against the original Wuhan strain. We showed that I think we're the only company that's shown in an efficacy trial that our vaccine works against the variants in the UK and South Africa. So that's great. The second thing you want to look at, well, maybe the first thing you want to look at, is a safety profile. We have the best safety profile, the most benign vaccine that exists right now. And then you look at the stability. It's important, and we will be able to. We'll have stability both in storage and in shipping and in the doctor's office at refrigerated temperatures. And so I think that all of these put together determine how your vaccine stacks up.
Stan, you mentioned the different variants. In the meantime, though, now we have the Indian variant that looks to be about in 44 other countries. Are you testing against that?
We are. We have a program to test against we've shown how the vaccine works against the UK variant, against the South African variant. We have the ability to make variants against India, against the New York, and against the California strains. We're doing them all.
Stan,
the question is, the data will tell us whether you need to actually change the strain of vaccine to match the variant, or whether one or two strains in our vaccine are sufficient to cover all of them. We make broadly neutralizing antibodies, so we work against just more than just one strain.
In terms of, is there a limit to the number of antigens you can get in? There are all kinds of strains now we're starting to focus on. How much can you pack in?
Yeah, so that's another advantage that we have. We use very low doses. We use 5 micrograms. That's very small. And for instance, when we make a flu vaccine with protein, we put in 240 micrograms into a flu vaccine, and we're just using 5 micrograms in coronavirus. the limit is, we don't know what the limit is. We can put a number of strains in.
And that makes it definitely very different than some others that we've seen. Does that mean that if I get your vaccine, do I not need a booster?
I think that's what we're looking at. We're in the middle of a booster trial right now, and it's being run in the UK, and they're taking our vaccine and Moderna and AZ and running them against people that have already been vaccinated with one or the other. It's called a mix and match trial. So we'll actually see probably by the end of June how the different vaccines work. But I think everybody's fairly convinced that with waning antibodies over the period of a year, you're going to want to boost, maybe much like you do with the flu vaccine.
I see.
Stan, how do you feel about your IP? You willing to share it?
Yeah. We're way ahead of that, actually. We knew that this was going to be a global problem. We knew that we needed to get our vaccine out to more than just high-income countries a year ago. It's a long time ago in this pandemic world. A year ago, we partnered up with the biggest vaccine company in the world, Serum Institute of India, that makes 1.5 billion vaccines in all 4 low and middle income countries. And so we licensed and tech transferred all of our IP to them so that they can scale up and supply the world with our vaccine. And we did it without any upfront payments or milestones, just to serve that very purpose. Giving away IP doesn't solve the problems. It's very complicated, takes many years to get to where we are. If we just gave it away, you wouldn't have a vaccine any faster in those countries. What we did is the right thing. And in fact, we just signed an agreement with COVAX in the UK and Europe to give them 1.1 billion doses. They'll get our first doses.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think that's the right way to handle this.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's quite interesting. Before I let you go, real quick, Stan, Guy and I both have kids, so we're vested interest in your answer. Where are you in trials with kids? My daughter's 6. Guy's kids are a little older, but where are you in that?
We've started our adolescent and pediatric trials, so we'll be there for your kids.